How would you describe the Spanish, or better say Catalan people here in Barcelona?
The first thing that comes to my mind is that they are very competitive.
They are very patriotic. It's not easy to get to know people from Catalonia because they're very to themselves.
They love the Catalan sometimes too much. You know,
What do you mean?
it's like they spend so much energy sometimes in try to not educated, it's sometimes like inculcated. You know how are the Catalan. I know that story that they have with the Catalan with the war and that they want to kill all themselves because they speak it. You know, and I think that they that kind of like hate internal that sometimes they have it is reflected too much in the outside, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes it's not necessary spending so much try to educate the people who are going to stay here just for hours, you know.
And I think that they sometimes try to be they are like cheap people. They try to get the best deals, of course, but I think that they prefer, or their first thing that they keep in mind when they're doing business, they just let's go straight to the point, and well, let's get the best deal, and the best deal is the lower amount that I can pay for the thing that I'm interested in.
Would you say they're also cheap in their social approaches, for example, when going out with friends or inviting people?
I think, well, I don't think that, you know, I think that when they are with friends, it might be a different thing. But let me tell you that there was something different from my original hometown, because when you hang out with friends, for example, for grabbing a beer, the usual thing is that if there are three of you, first guy buys the first round for everyone, and then another person does the same thing, and it maintains an equilibrium. It was kind of shocking for me when I arrived here that you can be in a group of 5 people, you can ask for whatever you want, and at the end, you can ask for the waiter to separate the bills. And at the beginning, I thought it was kind of rude, and I'm still, to be honest, getting used to that.
But I know that year after year, that kind of problematic that they have inside, and they are already not found the solution, are worse every year. And the people, they really love to take that kind of thing, who see on the news, who talk on the street. They're talking about political or football. So this is what the vibe with some of them.
And of course, they're very about speaking their own language. I tried to learn Catalan. I'm very proud people, very proud people. I went to the soccer game. This was Barcelona playing against Villarreal. It was maybe a few months ago. And you see, like, it was, even though it's the same country, but you have Spanish and you have people from like the Catalonia, Spain, you know, they're very like toward each other, you know. It was really, really like, yes, they're very proud people here in Catalonia, you know. I have some few friends that are like Catalan and they're your friends. And I think they are really there for you, but I think it takes a little time, but they're very like closed up. They love to speak Catalan. They will love to force you to speak their language, which I think is a good thing, because if you move to a country, I think you have to speak their language and you have to respect the traditions and you have to try to get in the traditions. So if they see you trying to get in and become one of them, they will treat you nice. Like, the first month when I moved here, I started doing Castellers, which is like the mountain of human towers. So
Humans on top of each other.
yeah, and then I started going to Castellers. They saw the like, oh my God, you're our first Brazilian doing Castellers. And then I went. I go to all the traditional festivities. I try to eat all the traditional food. My neighbor, she's 94. She was born here in front of the Sagrada Familia. She's very Catalana, and like, I'm always at her house. She's like my grandma, and she always talks to me about the traditions, tries to teach me about the history of the city, about how it's living around Sagrada Familia, how everything changed. But she's very welcoming because she knows that I'm trying to blend. So if you're eager to be part of them, they will welcome you.
Was there anything else which you found difficult to adjust to, this new culture?
Yes, the language. Although when you're a Spanish speaker person, you are able to understand Catalan in a proper way, sometimes I find it like they try to, well, place their language in a first place. And if you're here in Catalonia, you have to speak Catalan. And some people are not flexible with that. I was actually in an international event of the university. I was doing the master, and the official language was English. And many people didn't speak even Spanish, not even Catalan. And some of the questions from some students from here were asked in Catalan. And the weird thing is that the professors were answering them in Catalan, although we didn't understand anything. Well, I think that it can be kind of rude. I understand that they want to defend their language and their culture, but I think that using this language in this way can be kind of rude when you're not from here. And also knowing that almost 25% of the people living in Barcelona are not from here. So, yeah, that's another thing I have to highlight.
I do ballet with other Catalan girls, and they are very like, but I don't know if it's because of the person really, or if
What do you mean by like?
they're very like strict and I speak to them in Castellano, and they start speaking to me in Catalan, and I already said I'm even trying to work on my Castellano. Entonces, no, I don't speak Catalan. And she's like, I don't care. I will speak Catalan to you. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. But not everyone is like this.
How would you describe people in Madrid or other parts of Spain that you've experienced?
In Madrid, for example, the people are like in every capital, I think, are much more. We call it in Spain is petulante. It's like when a person is like they have too much personality, you know, something like arrogance sometimes. But the people in the general in all the capitals, I mean, they happen to be in Paris, they happen to be in Buenos Aires, and they are like I'm from the center.
Have you seen any cultural differences between people here in Barcelona and other parts of Spain?
Yes, I think that they can be a little bit colder here. I had the chance to live during the first months when I arrived in a room that was rented by a lady. She's from the Canarias Islands, and I found her more familiar or more close to my original culture. And now that I'm working in a Catalan company, my partners say that people from Canarias are more similar to Latin American people. So yes, I think there is a huge difference between people living here and from other parts of Spain.
My partner's family is from the north of Spain, the very north, País Vasco, the Basque country. So they're very cold. They're like they speak more roughly, like they're pa pa pa. So when my mother-in-law came to visit, she was speaking to my partner, and I was like, "Why are you fighting with each other?" And they were like, "Oh no, that's just how we speak." And in here, people are more friendly, more warm, and so that's the difference. They're colder. In here, they're warmer, more welcoming, mostly. Visca Catalunya.
How would you describe people, for example, in Andalusia?
Very open, very warm, easy to get to know, very easy approachable. That's the kind of Spain that I know. Like being in Catalonia is like you know you are in Europe, but you don't always feel you're in Spain, you know, because it's so international, like so much international people here.
Thanks a lot for watching this video, and let us know in the comments about your experience with cultural differences in Spain. And I hope to see you in the next video about life in different European cities.